here. Okay, we are in. There's the route, and it definitely seems like Black Forest. This is probably not going to be Team Islands, so let's head on. And hopefully it's going to be a good game for all the 18. Or it's Team Islands. Well, it's not like it's some kind of huge victory, but it can make for a whole lot more interesting games than Black Forest. That's something that, of course, we are quite looking forward to. Alright, so chat off, so that spectators don't really annoy us with some potential spoilers and whatnot, and a lot of chatting because there are about 30 spectators, so of course it would be kinda unusual, or rather it's kinda unusual, and would be pretty sucky for us to listen to. And otherwise, looking so far on the map, the only problem I see on the water is potentially this right shore, as if Red, Smuka, who is the new player for the Chileans, and Chileno Chino is also a new one. Chileno Chino, I know this name. I know this name from RTS League. He was playing some match. I'm fairly certain. I'm not exactly sure for which clan, but I do remember that name. And well, let's see how he's gonna play. Okay, so to finish my thought with the right side of the water, there are not really all that many deep fish. You can see just one tuna, or rather marlin, jumping out of the water, then something at the bottom. And usually, if you are kind of undecided if you want to be all that aggressive or all that defensive, you are just going to be placing a dock about this position on Team Islands. And that might be pretty bad. That might be really bad for Smuka, so he definitely has to hope that he feels either belligerent and places the dock into the front, which is reasonably fine. All the fishies jumping in there out of the water, or he just goes full on defensive, and that's going to be the corner, which is, yeah, pretty much fine as well. Okay, so that's the potential problem in there. Otherwise, the map seems to be reasonably fine. I don't really see on the minimap anything that would be kind of harmful. Maybe a dock in this corner, not that efficient, but not really bad. Not really bad per se. Seems to be already... he's going for the board, rather. Going for the back board. Oh, yeah, you need to hit it twice. Yeah, and then it's gonna continue and run, run, run. You don't, of course, have the loom. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, goodbye. That didn't really work out right now for Attila. So, the Mongol player for the Peruvians is right now aiming for a Titanic. Veritable Titanic in here, so second villager is going to be having an attempt, and you need to hit twice. And one more. Yeah, it seems okay. Unless he stops yet again, as he did with the first one, he should be pretty much fine. He's gonna hide in the TC, all the rest are gonna just shoot. Oh, shoot, 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 shoot. Yes, he will. So that's that, and Bor is safely home. But it did cost the villager of this poor little villager in there. So let's see if somebody else was having some kind of malpractice, and of course some kind of problems with gathering the board. Apparently not Purple, who is going for full-on defense. That's curious. This should be home map for Peruvians. Because they are the second team. The first one should have been for the Chileans. But I'm really not sure. There was so much talking going on all the way. I joined the game room late and I don't speak Spanish. So it could have been anyone's map. Maybe somebody noticed it actually in the chat, but yeah, really no idea who is going to be accounted with the idea for this map. But otherwise, blue. Already on the board. I don't see skeletons anywhere. Have a nicely positioned gold and extra gold and stone, but the main gold is bad. That's bad. Even though it's on the hill, it doesn't matter on Team Islands, obviously, and this is very close by in, maybe even in Castle Age, from this side. From this side in potentially Imperial Age, I'm thinking galleons could be shooting about here. So yeah, it should be surviving until that age. So potentially this might be really unusual for Ioria, and might be wanting to hope that it's not going to be that bad. In the meantime, we are looking at Smuka, who actually dodged the bullet. They didn't really build the rock on the right side, he has built it into the front. And this is basically telling you that they are feeling much more comfortable. They are having all three docks in the front, which is making me think this is actually not a Peruvian map, but Chilean. Yeah, why go for such a back build for Peruvians? Especially if they want the Arabia. They will be probably wanting to repeat the Arabia, so yeah, this is going to be Chilean map. This just makes sense that it's going to be for the Chileans, okay? So let's have that in mind, and with that in mind, we should be expecting that somebody from the Chilean team is going to be hoping that they are going to be landing sometime soon and maybe closing the game also, because if they do, then it's of course going to result into the decider. And through all the waiting, we are of course hoping that this match is going to be providing the entertainment that we all want. Okay, so there's the second board done. Already third actually. Yeah, there's a third board carcass. Most definitely 3 boards for him. He's having even extra one in the front. Full casas. Full homes. Yeah, I understand that. He has apparently housed himself or whatnot. Not really sure, but apparently not. But who is going to be housing himself is Smuka. Already working to not really allow that to happen. But he definitely should be hurrying up, because of course the boats are going to be coming up. And the civilizations, they are the same for both Huns, Mongols, Vikings. Not really not much of a surprise for either team. So yeah, this is fairly standard for them. He's continuing quite interestingly with docks into the middle. And sometimes you see players actually move into the right to be having a bit of a control over this choke point. Or choke point, this is not choke point, not really. He's just going around the map, around the island, into back to rate, into the economy, potentially, that some players might be having there. Which is apparently not the case. And yet another back dock right now by Ioria. And just the only front dock from Wow, that's fast. That's seriously fast. That's almost with the back docks. I wouldn't be surprised at all if this was double sling into landing. Right now I'm kind of thinking he could just delete it to not give it up, because this is going to be out of range of most of the stuff that the opponents could be having. Oh, just now gonna be scouted. Bad luck, but he's sending more. He's probably going to be sending the scout, yes, as well. But unfortunately, he has already been found out, which is of course going to be significantly changing the strategy of Commercial. Yeah, Commercial just now saying that he needs some probably help fast or whatnot, I would be expecting. It's going to be watchtower on the wood line and on the stone. This is actually a pretty good position, because it's going to be covering also partly the stone in here after upgrades and after upgrades into the next age. And yeah, these dudes, they're just too late. They're just too late to the party. Commercial will be winning the water, but that's about it. And the opponents don't really mind that at all. So, tower coming up from green for the full defense. Now let us see how effective this is going to be. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... That's probably out of range. Oh no, it isn't 8 range. Okay. I was for a moment thinking that it's actually having low range, but no, it isn't. So it's going to be in range, and with the archers already coming up, well, this is going to be a bit of a micro battle in here. No, micro, please, you need to save him. Yes, exactly, you need to save him, but you are probably not saving him. He's just moving for the village, so he's not really controlling him all that much. So tower is up, villagers are trying to take it down with the galleys, and help from Chino also. Having a bit of fun there. And has there been some kind of landing by red? I'm going to be having a quick check. No, there's just a galley. Some more galleys around, with blue fighting on the water altogether. Purple, yeah, well, not doing much yet, but he's going to be joining soon, I'm thinking also. And that's it. That's it so far. So okay, this land is... I'm going to be saying that it's probably going to fail at this stage. I don't really expect it to survive. This seems like that actually Commercial is going to be reacting quite correctly. And since it's so close by to the water, it also means that the fishing boats, or the fishing boats wannabes in here, the war galleys, to be, goddammit, galleys, steaming already for like more than 6 hours, and it's 3 AM for me, so sorry for the mistakes. They are probably going to be piling up. This is going to be quite easy for them to deal with. You can already see the tower is being reduced to ash and rubble. In just a matter of moments, those villages are gonna die fairly soon. So yep, that's a failed landing, which is of course costing about 4 or 5 villages. And quite a decent amount of resources, not only in the buildings, but of course in the archers as well, which are going to be missing quite significantly in the production on the water. You can see that basically he's having just 1 dock. He wasn't really going to fight for the water. And if right now the Chileans don't take advantage of that and basically close the water soon, which they should be, because they are 3 versus 2, they are all going for the water, whereas for the opponents, it basically so far just Ioria, and Marquito is just a bit. He's not really joining in, he's having just boats at the back. Right now moving forward with the galleys, and it's going to be already quite a bit late. And of course the opponents are going to be quite ready for that. So yep, that was a brave attempt. Great attempt at about 10-minute landing. But this definitely didn't work out as he had hoped, as he was discovered basically like a few seconds after he built the archer range, and that usually spells a disaster if your opponents know what they are doing, and they definitely knew. So good job, Chileans. Nicely played. Even some USA in here apparently. And is there going to be some attempt to land right now, or rather counter land? I don't see anybody attempting that. They are so far going to be probably fully fighting for the water. If somebody was landing, I would be probably expecting Chino as the Han. I would only be really expecting the red player, Smuka. Because he is, of course, the Viking. And they are going to be fighting for the water for as long as possible. So yeah, nothing really happening in there. And he's just basically trying to control the blue player, but blue is quite well off. He's having decent amount of boats, but with all the reinforcements that Smuka is just now sending in, it should be pretty much fine. It's going to be equal, and he's going to be fighting next to the military production buildings of red, and that's always a huge advantage, especially in such numbers. And blue is so far away with the back build. He should be thinking about building actually in the front if he wants to somehow fight for the water, because otherwise the water is just going to be lost. There's not much of a reason why they should be thinking, the Peruvians, why they would be winning. Because of course the dock just won. For the Mongol basically tells you there's no way back for him into the water unless the opponents make a mistake. Yeah, well, a bit of a fun right now for Marquito. This is exactly the mistake that we were waiting for, or rather I was talking about just a second earlier. Blacksmith for the castle age, but otherwise seems to be pretty much it. Just cartography for Chino, so that he potentially sees what his allies are seeing, and well, that's a lot of fight on the water potentially, and a bit of a trap for blue if he isn't careful. Yeah, he needs to really retreat from this position, because both Smuka and Chino would be just absolutely slaughtering him, and they are exactly aiming for that. Not really in any kind of significant way. This boat is almost looking like it's waiting for a landing in here. Really looking like that. And I'm just going to be probably checking the pocket player, because that's the one I would be really expecting to land. I wouldn't expect the Viking at all. Maybe the green could as well, but I would like the Han. It just makes sense. He can make horses. He's advancing into castle age, so this would be a sweet time to actually establish himself, send the villagers, build the barracks inside his home, or maybe even on the other island. Doesn't really matter. With a stable, and yep, let's go from there. So how's it gonna look in here? Is he sending some villagers somewhere? No. Green guys just gotten rid of all the nuisances that were in there, and still, those two guys are still very much alive. Having a bit of an odyssey, but the skirmisher just trying to catch them. He's just basically waiting for them to make a mistake, somewhere stop, and he's going to be killing both of them. Purple might be helping. Marquito might be helping a bit. Yeah, he's attempting to do so, but just recognize that he cannot. So we had to retreat from this position, which of course means that right now at the top, Commercial, with his teammate Smuka, are just pursuing all the blue boats. Green probably doesn't have to go there. It should be enough by just red. By a rough look, I'm thinking that red is having by about 2 boats more. Looking how they are. And somehow, somewhere else, what else is going on? Another dock coming up. Still no transport ship, and we are also looking at potentially a bit of a fighting going on that is going to be going on between Marquito and Chino. Chino was signaling in there. He's sending his second squad, and if he waits, he's definitely having a whole lot more, which will mean that Marquito will be having not such a great game, because apparently he's also kind of dividing his armies. He's not only fighting on the left, but he's also having some boats on the right. Not really anything significant, but since he's facing just this... Yeah, well... Not good news for him all that much. War galley coming up. So still thinking that there is going to be some significant fight for the water, but I don't really expect that. Because if you have like blue, he is producing a few boats in there. Nothing all too significant. He's not now right now coming home with the remainders, but it's just going to be resulting into just a full 3 versus 2, and there's no way that the Peruvians could be winning this, so they need to think up some plan. Probably some second landing, and very soon. Looking at the villages, we are at 37, 39, 36 for Chileans, whereas Peruvians 33, 43, 37. Well, apart from Attila, it's actually not bad. Overall, it's not really bad at all. So they still could be having a pretty good shot on this game if they do some correct strategy. But apparently that's not really what they are aiming for all that much. They are just right now booming, trying to wall in. Yeah, they are just preparing for landing. This wall, this is just preparing for wall in, full on. So they are expecting that, that the enemies should be coming soon. And they want to be ready for that. And potentially then take the game from there. Well, not sure if that's going to be working. But first, let's have a look at the water battles. Where Ioria, still valiantly fighting, but it's going to be just waiting for the inevitable double with yellow, which is definitely coming pretty soon. As at the top, another double is also moving in, and he's going to be quite close to the Viking in the pocket very soon. He's going to be just killing all those war galleys, not any kind of problem in there, and he's going to be, of course, continuing very soon into basically the heart of his water, not only economy, but also warfare, and that will of course mean just one thing only, unless actually purple rebuilds in the middle, because the middle is poorly guarded, quite poorly guarded so far by the Chileans. They don't really pay enough attention to it, and they definitely should do a whole lot more. They should be positioning the galleys on some normal distances in there, so basically make sure that they know how it's going. So yeah, this is alright. As at the bottom side, actually it's quite surprising that Ioria is having some kind of success, but I think it's not going to be long-lived. He's having good navy, pretty good navy, but of course yet again he is right next to all the docks from both yellow and red, and that of course means one thing only, and that this is just a temporary victory for him, and it's going to be really melting into ashes in front of his eyes in just a matter of minutes. A bit of continued trading right now by purple, as he was able to somehow hide a few ships in there, whereas of course those boats are just continuing trying to kill the economy and everything else, as there's not much happening somewhere else. In the meantime, green not really fighting on the water, but just having a bit of fun, trying to put Attila and punish him, trying to put him out of the water and punish him fully. So that's something that he does, and he's coming of course right now for the war galleys, as he is just advancing to the castle age. So yeah, it seems like that everybody is still quite content fighting just for the water, and Chilean landing is going to be coming into the game a bit later than just now. Oh, nicely built castle actually. It's going to be pretty hard to take down for the Chilean. This is very nice. This is very nice small victory by Attila, and this is exactly what Peruvians right now need to do. They need to take those small victories and basically wait for the correct moment to pounce. And the pouncing could be by keeping them busy in the middle, and then Attila quietly rebuilding about here with the docks, and then when the time is right, if he's not discovered, then emerging from that position and surprising the opponents basically fully. That could be something that would work for them. Let's see. In the meantime, of course, the Smuka, together with his ally, remaining boats from Chino, are just now next to Blue's buildings. But with a few reinforcements from actually Marquito, Ioria seems to be handling this situation, but not really all that well. He needs a few more boats in there, but he's having everything right next to Chino. And this is really surprising to me that actually the Chileans are letting this game get so far away from their hands. I'm not really sure what's happening and what happened, because it didn't really look like they should be losing. They were fighting 3 versus 2 with very big navies, all of them. So I'm not sure how they are actually, how is it possible that Ioria is basically single-handedly winning this. He's not receiving all that much help from Marquito, even though we mustn't say that it wouldn't be significant, his presence. His presence is what actually is binding like half of the army of the opponent, so of course, even though he's not killing boats, he's at least keeping them busy. And this is just basically idea stolen from the opponent on the other side, and they are both Mongols, so they are doing the same stuff, but unfortunately Green needs to be a whole lot more careful fighting the correct boats. Villagers dying, not finishing with the castle. Yep, bad news for commercial. Bad news indeed. So, Chileans, for example, at the villages, let's compare that, 65, 47, 55, whereas the Peruvians are at 70, 61, 78. So actually they are already having much better economy. So yep, even though it looked all kinds of fishy for the Peruvians, they really seem to be coming back with some significant vengeance, and well, they might even be attempting second landing sometime soon. And looking at the lack of docks from Teal, I'm really expecting he's going to be attempting another one reasonably soon. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. He's already having the villager in this position, so he's basically just waiting. Let's switch into Attila. Yeah, we are going to... Oh, scratch that. He's right now deciding that this is going to be correct time to go for the full-on water, and I do have to agree, because of course since the blue player Ioria is doing such a great job keeping both sides busy, this is exactly the time when Attila could be plugging himself into the game, back into the game, and help on the water, and that will, of course, turn it into full 3v3, and with the better economies and so far, apparently overall better gameplay, they might be really inching into the victory, inch by inch. How else would you be inching, of course, towards anything? Alright, so purple ready. Marquito and rebuilding in the front. This is exactly what needed to happen, so that he's so far closer and he doesn't have to run all the way around. That's just taking so long and it's so ineffective. And next step will be blue, and he's already moving there as well. And yep, they are just slowly but surely moving into the front and hoping that their opponents are not going to be faster than them. Of course, the division in score is 500. That's a lot. That's 8. By 8 more than what the Chileans are having. It's actually not a small difference. It's quite significant. Basically telling you the difference in there. And Galeon from Smuka, who has advanced into the Imperial Age as the very first one. And Imperial Age, though, coming for Attila Old. So that's the reason why he's switching on the water, because he wants all the upgrades. But I'm not sure he does have them. Well, he does have at least +2 on to attack already. So there's that coming for him, as we are looking so far not really all that many engagements, just basically everybody trying to avoid the fights until the upgrades are in. Right now Smuka was actually smelling some advantage that he could be coming into blue, into Ioria, and well, since Ioria is not... Wow, Ioria is still in Feudal Age. Well, that's a bug. How he could be in Feudal Age if he's having War Galleys? Yeah, that's a bug. That's unfortunately bugged right now. Spectator delay for me, or rather overlay. So I don't really need to rely on that. I was just absolutely shocked that you would be still in Feudal Age at 35 minutes, and especially the War Galleys. It just wouldn't be making any kind of sense, just now advancing into Imperial Age. Let's see if it corrects itself. But otherwise, Chileno also, or rather Chino, Chino, into Imperial Age, Marquito as well, so everybody coming for the Galleons, and we are probably going to be seeing quite significant water battles in the middle of these team islands. So Marquito doing a good job against red and yellow, because of course the majority of those boats are somewhere else, like for example right now red is trying to kill blue quite significantly and successfully, so seems like. It has to be said. And well, but they need to be careful also, because if they lose the middle, then yeah, good luck with that, as it seems like that green is not really doing such a great job. Commercial is having pretty significant issues with Attila, and since Attila is just now producing already Galleons, whereas Attila is still having War Galleys just yet, well, yeah, you can see that he's basically owning. He's even killing a few villages on the shoreline, just shooting them into the back, but the castle is still a bit of a problem. Chemistry coming up for Attila. It's going to be just for better attack for the boaties, but also for cannon galleons. Actually not sure if Mongols have them. I would be expecting so. Let's quickly check. Mongols... Yes, of course they do have cannon galleons. They have everything they want to and need to, and well, there is a bit of a blockade on the right, and it's basically just right now also a blockade by Smuka on blue, so that he cannot send any reinforcements in. This is actually pretty nice play, and if he can still stay there, I would just stay there. I'll stay next to the docks, try to kill them and kill all the reinforcements, because if he can achieve that, he'll basically make sure that it's going to be just Marquito in the middle, and that will leave them with China just to basically play it correctly, wait for the right time, then emerge and kill him altogether. But you mustn't forget that Marquito is actually a Viking, so yeah, he's having the best sources and opportunity to actually be winning against a double if he can. So that's that. That's also something you mustn't forget. But Smuka is the Viking, so he could be having quite easily second flank, or rather second squad of units to help Chino. And that might be just enough to deal with Marquito. Okay, so that's that. In the middle so far, Are we going to be seeing some attempts at whatever? Oh yeah, landing. This is a transport boat, and it's getting filled up with mangudais and with some also siege. So are the villages? Yeah, they are. Siege rams coming up. Some Imperial Age for commercial. Cavaliers for Marquito. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, because of this, yeah. Upgrade into Cavaliers, that's basically telling this, so that's going to be castle for the Huns. Unfortunately, has been just now scouted. There are enough villages from yellow, so if he's fast enough, he could be really getting there. But with the support, yeah, he's going to be fine. Yeah, it's going to be fine. Ah, somebody has having problem with actually landing. Yeah. Where is he actually having the guys? He needs 2 more to actually put there, and he's going to be unloading, but he's going to be having the hard time actually picking the right spot, because those 2 castles are very nicely positioned. I definitely like this play by commercial, that's well played, and he's going to be buying himself some time. But yeah, this is going to be kind of tough. The villagers were attempting very nicely to stop the castle, but this is exactly the threat of the Viking on the water, and yep, building also close by. So this was something that didn't work out the first time for the Peruvians. This was something that actually cost them the first landing in here, because the opponents were ready for them, but this time it's not the case, it's the opposite, and the support from the water was exactly what they needed. Castle drop, going to be continuing with stables, and yep, Cavaliers and Paladins a bit later are just going to be running all around. Another castle. Interesting choice. I would be going to be expecting already at least 1 stable being built, so that he can raid around, but apparently not all that much, and the water seems to be really right now coming for the Peruvians so strongly. So strongly. All the boats from red, we have seen the huge flank that was just hidden in there, waiting, and it was apparently engaging in the middle as we were looking at the landing in there, and just didn't succeed. Didn't succeed. Ioria, huge navy. Marquito, huge navy. Attila, huge navy. And we don't see anybody from the other team. So that's that. That's that. Deal has already right now landed with all the siege that he needed. He's getting rid of the castle quite handily. And of course going to be continuing with getting rid of the other buildings as well. Just going to be waiting for another transport ship for the villages. Already waiting for them. So it's going to be that. More units coming up. A few more villies, and well, this siege ram could have also moved in, but it's not like it's needed. Right now I'm just waiting for cannon galleons that should be coming for the Viking, because that will be really easily killing absolutely everything on the shore. As you can see right now, Green trying to somehow salvage some army, but it's just going to be a bit too hard. He cannot fight against this double, it's just a bit too strong, and Blue is just paying enough attention at the bottom, trying to keep their opponents from coming back on the water. And even though there is a very nice attempt, it was unfortunately for them discovered, and Peruvians are definitely in full control. And well, Marquito, interestingly, right now moving into archery range, so it's probably going to be cavalry archers, not sure. Let's switch into Marquito. Here. Into Marquito, and this just reminded me that for like half a game I was actually thinking that he was Viking. Actually, Ioria was Viking. Yeah, well, luckily it didn't really matter all that much. The events developed nonetheless. No matter my mistake in here, and well, this is of course quite a nice surprise, as this will allow him to close the game a whole lot better. And this is really aiming there, because this is just a bit too much. I'm not exactly expecting China to be able to somehow withstand this. He's having just literally castle and a few buildings. He cannot really withstand that at all. With the cavalry archers coming up, some knights are being raided by China, but yep, they are just getting killed by the extra castle fire. And of course, all the castles and all the siege workshops coming up right about now by Attila, who has already landed on green a bit earlier, and trying to get rid of the remaining castles that are just defending the shoreline. Well, he is eating into him quite inevitably. Quite inevitably indeed. And they are aiming for quite an inevitable end to the game as well, to be honest. It doesn't seem like that there should be any kind of comeback coming from the Chileans. Not really seeing it all that much. The water is in basically full power of the Peruvians. Most definitely. Yeah, right now GGs are coming in, because there's just no way. Full on control, both sides, even in the front. There's just no way that the Chileans could be even stopping the landing, and let alone Coming back onto water, so nicely played, GG, and it means that the Peruvians, even though it looked all kinds of fishy, and it really looked like Chileans should be closing it for themselves, they persevered, they knew what they were doing, they held their patience, and they prevailed, and they are advancing into the next round of the Nations Cup. So good job, but also nice performances by the Chileans, especially this game. This was really nice. They were actually quite nicely reaching for the victory, but it just slipped through their fingers. And Peru is going to be having both A team and B team in the next round of the Nations Cup 2017. So let's check the achievements. Something interesting. Marquito, not really agreeing that he would be the most important. I think the most important was... Actually, don't know whom. I'm not really sure. I think Ioria. He was really important on the comeback on water. He was basically instrumental to that, let's say that. So yeah, that's probably Ioria is the most important player for the game and MVP for me. Not much interesting stuff. Units killed 129, units lost 61, that's nice ratio. Not nice for China all that much. 42 against 119. Yeah, tough luck. Very nice echo by Marquito. Really, really nice. And that's why he was so unstoppable. That's why he was so unstoppable with the landing in there, in the end game. Because he was just fully ready for it. Okay, GG.